Hello, Stampers. It's Cindy here with Stampin' Chick Creations, and I just wanted to jump on and show you a really cool technique that I haven't done in a very long time, but it is one of my favorites. So it's actually called candle stamping. So it's actually applying your image onto a candle. It's so super simple and so much fun. The possibilities are endless. So I just want to go ahead and show you how we do that, and I'd love to see your creations when they're done. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I just realized, hang on here. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to use today is Art Gallery stamp set from Stampin' Up, and this goes live January 4th. It is going to become one of the most popular sets of the season, I can guarantee you. The possibilities with the stamp set are endless, absolutely. So what we need is just a plain white unscented candle, and it has to be white. And these are becoming harder and harder to find. So this is actually an older one that I had just kicking around. I haven't done this in a long time. You can use any size candle depending on the image that you're using, but it needs to be white. You need to have white tissue paper. And again, it needs to just be white, no other colors. And then you need a piece of wax paper. Okay, now I have a whole roll dedicated to this technique, so I'm set to go. So let me show you how we go ahead and do this. So now Art Gallery is actually a two-step stamping stamp. So this is the card or the candle that I just did. It might be hard to see on camera. I'll bring it in just a little bit. So it is a two-step stamp, and you can't actually see the lighter color underneath here. So I actually, on this one, I stamped it with Gorgeous Grape as the this first image, and then this one I stamped in Highland Heather. So no, sorry, I did not. I stamped this one in Highland Heather, and then I stamped that one in Gorgeous Grape. So you can't really tell the difference here. So I think what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and I'll use the one image for this example, and then I use the stem. So we'll skip over doing this one. Well, no, let's just do it the way I did it. Just for consistency's sake, let's just do that. Okay, so I'm taking the more solid image, and I'm going to come in with Gorgeous Grape. Nope, sorry, Highland Heather I want first, because Highland Heather is my lighter color. So Highland Heather, and of course you can use any colors you want to do this. And I'm just inking it up. Now the really key thing on your tissue paper is that it cannot have wrinkles in it. It needs to be a clean, crisp piece of tissue paper. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to stamp directly on the tissue paper. So again, I'm doing this with Highland Heather with the more solid image. And you can't really see that too much. I may end up doing that again, but we'll see. We'll just see how we make out here. I don't think I pushed hard enough. And then I'll come in with Gorgeous Grape. Gorgeous Grape, which is my darker color, and I'm going to be doing the outline. And I'm going to stamp directly on top of my Highland Heather, like this. Okay, so there we go. So you can see the difference a little bit. It's hard to see probably on the video right now, but it does come across quite nicely. Okay, so then what I want to do is I want to bring my stem. So this stem is actually bigger than I need, so I'm going to trim it down a little bit. You can do it after the fact, but I find it's easier just to do it before we actually do the heating and the adhering on that. So I'm using Garden Green, and I'm just going to line up my stem to the bottom of my flower. There we go. Cleaning off my stamp, putting it back into its home. There we go. Okay, so now the trick is, and I say trick because you have to be very cautious on this step. What you're going to do is you're actually just going to bring in your paper snips. And what we want to do is we want to trim all the way around this stamp. So I'm just going to take the adhesive or the packaging off the candle. And what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to line it up and see how far I want to go. So I just want to go below this leaf here. So I'm going to actually just trim that down just straight across. This will be the bottom. So that's about right, I'd say. We'll go down a little bit. Yeah, that's about right. So now we're going to trim as close as we can to the image without cutting the image, obviously, and without tearing the tissue paper. So this is the trickiest part. Now, you do not have to get extremely, extremely close, but you don't want a large amount of tissue paper left over either. And I'll show you why that is once we get this going. So I like to come in and kind of trim out as much white portions as I can without it affecting my image. Let's trim that one down there. Maybe I got a little bit too close to that one. These paper snips are very, very sharp. And I'll just come in and just, okay. So now what we need to do is we're going to lay this on our candle as we would like it to sit, okay? Now we're going to bring in a piece of wax paper. Now, wax paper cannot have any creases or bends or crinkles or any of that kind of stuff in it. So you want to cut a piece that's big enough to cover your candle, but you also want enough that there's a handle for you to hang on to, because what we're going to do is we're going to use our heat gun and we're going to heat this up. So I'm going to lay this down on top and applying a little bit of pressure just so that my image doesn't move. And then I'm just going to kind of pull this, keeping this nice and flat and smooth. Okay, so there's no crinkles in that. There's none of that. Okay, so you just want to, so now you cannot reuse this wax paper. Once you've used it, okay? But I tore off a piece and I've made, this will be my second candle. So a little bit of wax paper goes quite a ways. So we're gonna use your heat gun. And what we're gonna do is we're going to very carefully start to heat set this. But this is where it becomes very, very tricky because you do not want to overheat it, that the candle begins to melt. And you don't want to underheat it. You want to make sure that the tissue paper is actually melted into the candle. So it's a very, very fine line. You will see this become shiny, and you can kind of start to tell where it has actually adhered. So along the, actually you can't, so probably can't see this on the camera, but right here, there's a spot that it could have used a little bit more heat embossing. So let's go ahead and start, and I'll stop along the way and see if I can show you what I mean. So if you start to pull this back when you think it's done and it's not heat setted, what you can do is just pull your wax paper back, again, making sure it's smooth and no wrinkles, and continue to heat it. Okay, so it's kind of a trial and error. So let's get started. So I will tell you, the more candles you do, the warmer your heat gun will get and the quicker this process will go, okay? So now I think this looks pretty good. I can't see anything with my eyes that looks like it's maybe not heat set. So what I'm gonna do is I'm very carefully going to, very slowly and very carefully, I'm going to actually pull this wax paper back just so that I wanna make sure that I've caught it all and that it has actually melted into the candle, which it looks like it has very nicely, actually. Okay. Again, just slowly in case I have to reapply. And there you go. So there's your candle. So now if I wanted to actually put a sentiment on this side, I would repeat. I would stamp my sentiment, and then I would cut it out with the tissue paper. I would adhere it with a new piece of wax paper. And then I would put my sentiment here or another flower or whatever. So I like to do these. I think they're a lot of fun, but you can see how pretty of an image you get when you do those. So I will take pictures of these and actually post them on my on my Pinterest channel as well. So be sure to check those out. And if you have any questions or anything, be sure to message me, and I would love to answer any questions you have about that. But give it a try. Let me know how you make out, and post your pictures on my page if you can, or email them to me. I'd love to see them. Thanks for joining me. I hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to share this video on YouTube and Pinterest, and share it with your friends. And thanks for stopping by, and we will chit chat soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.